Say hi. Did you dip down?
Come
2, 3, 4. Woo! That's a record.
Come on.
Come on.
Bye-bye.
Hi everyone, today is Monday. We're actually in Atlanta, Georgia, and technically today we're supposed to be hit by Hurricane Irma, which it kind of has been on and off. I think what you're hearing is kind of the mild version of what we had. Just had a lot of wind, just limbs breaking off. I saw in the backyard a small tree was down. Nothing huge. I'm sure it's not as huge as whatever people of Florida are going through. However, we haven't gotten out of our neighborhood, so I don't know if there's flooding in any areas, if there's massive trees that actually fell down. But as you can hear, it's like off and on. It's like really strong winds. It's very interesting. Ryan stayed from work because the schools were closed. So he's gonna stay home today and tomorrow to work. He has an office downstairs actually, but got my baby monitor and I'm about to go jog on the treadmill. Haven't done it in a long time, but I really need to get on to running and exercising, so that's kind of what I'm gonna try to do. Hey everyone, so today is Tuesday. I kind of recorded a little bit of what was going on yesterday, which was technically when the hurricane was supposed to hit Atlanta. But I just came outside to kind of see what the damage is, or maybe clean up a little bit since Mila went to sleep. She had a bit of a rough night. It's probably teething. That's the hardest thing with an infant, I think, is you don't know if they're hungry, they had a growth spurt, or they're teething, or something else is bothering them. So it can be a little bit difficult to, you know, figure that out, or, you know, have some patience and understanding. So she woke up this morning like at 7. Well, she woke up at 3:30. So I figured she would be hungry because she kept crying again and again after being fixed. So I gave her a bottle and put her back to bed. And usually she would sleep till about 8 or 9. But she woke up at 7:30 again, I guess hungry. But she started crying, like being really whiny. And I mean, sometimes I feel like I have a full-blown toddler, which maybe I don't know what having a toddler is. But this stage, she's going on 10 months. And she's been really like working it. She's been trying to arch her back when she doesn't get her way. Cry, whine. It's just, it's frustrating. And, you know, it's hard for me to believe those people that say, you know, but babies don't understand. Yeah, they do. They are just such smart psychiatrists, trust me. They know exactly what they're doing. So she definitely gets, you know, disciplined when she does that, because we do not allow that. So I was going to show you guys how to do oatmeal in the jar for overnight oats, but I just realized I don't have any more, so that's out of the window. So we'll just continue doing shakes for this week, because we're actually, man, that's not good. We're actually going to Greenville. Okay, let's drain this. Going to Greenville this weekend, so we didn't want to buy too many groceries, so we just picked up a few staple items. But what I do every night is make sure that my dishes are washed, my coffee pot is ready, so the water's filled up, my coffee's filled up. So all I have to do in the morning is press a button Just because when you have a baby or an infant, sometimes your nights can be a little bit unpredictable, and when you're trying to get your husband out of the door for work, those little things actually cost a lot of time. So what I do is prepare the coffee. Usually if I have oatmeal in the morning, I'll prepare that overnight as well, put it in the fridge. I also prepare him a meal. Usually it's already prepared for that day. I just put it in a container so I don't have to do it in the morning, because that's another extra thing that you have to do, you know, and sometimes you might have to get to feeding your baby right away, or I don't know, sometimes it can be really strange. So that's one of the reasons I always like to have my dishes done when I go to bed. It just gives me a peace of mind that everything is, this is leaking, that everything's done, and I can kind of start fresh in the morning without having to get up and wash dishes. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I know everybody has a different preference, but we actually have a Ninja. I think we got it when it first came out. Probably had it for about maybe a year and a half. I really like it, just because it's so easy to use. You have your water here. It's easy to clean. I feel like a lot of those little coffee mate makers, they were so like plastic. Everything was plastic and it was hard to get to. So over time, your coffee doesn't taste good. It tastes like a foot because it's so dirty, which I know you're supposed to do like your regular cleanings, but I kind of didn't trust that. I would rather, you know, have soap and sponge and clean everything out and know that I'm having a good coffee every single time. So yeah, I just put in water, my coffee right here. And actually, you know, this was actually for my baby shower, I think. My mother-in-law bought this, and so I just keep my filters here with my little scooper. Then I got these little pots. This is tea, this is coffee, this is sugar. So it's kind of like a little coffee bar, so to speak. So all I have to do is in the morning is come, press a button, and the coffee is in the making. So as you can see, I got plenty of dishes. Sometimes I do them by hand, sometimes I put them in the dishwasher. I think I'm gonna go ahead and put them in the dishwasher just because I have so many of them in the sink. But again, it's cleaning out the dishwasher. But I mean, I am grateful that I have one because it does help out a lot. And then Ryan really wanted a carrot cake. So for those of you who are vegans, you know, or were not really sure if vegans can eat certain kind of desserts, you can just substitute eggs for baking. So we used applesauce. So the recipe required 3 eggs. So we used applesauce. So for 2 eggs, we used applesauce, 2 portions, and then 1 flaxseed. And it turned out really good. This is it right here. So I'm gonna have to let it cool. I think the middle is cooked. I just gotta check it with a toothpick. I don't know what I did with it. There it is. So all you do is poke it through in the middle. It doesn't stick, that means it's cooked. So it's off. So it took about 45 minutes to bake. Usually with carrot cakes, you do want it to cool down. And then I usually don't buy this. But usually when I go with Ryan to the store, he'll buy stuff that I don't prefer having in my house. So he got this right here. I like to make my own cream. But this is a classic vanilla, so it does not have high fructose corn syrup, which is not really good for you. Overall, eating a lot of sugary stuff is not good for you, so I usually do not buy this stuff. But it doesn't have any kind of milk. So it's made out of sugar, vegetable shortening, soybean, cottonseed oils, water, corn syrup, cornstarch, salt. Of course, your colorants are not really that good. Natural and artificial flavors, which I'm very leery about. Preservative potassium sorbate, citric acid. So usually when I see an ingredient list this big right here, I don't buy the product because it just tells me that it's super processed. That's why I always prefer making stuff at home. But he wanted this on his carrot cake, so you know, you gotta let the husband do it once in a while. So I'm gonna let that cool and start on the dishes. But meanwhile, let's go check on the kids. Ryan is giving Mila a bath, so. Say hi! Did you dip down? One.
Y-T-D-Y. Wrong way.
Come on, stand up. One.
Good girl. Whoa.
Come get it. Woo! Good job.
Almost there.
Do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Don't
Stand
go
up.
limp leg on us.
Stand up. Stand up. Big girl.
Oh no.
Woo! Num num. Are you being good with Dada? You being good with Dada? You wanna go to Dada? Stand up.
Come here.
Come on. 1,
Come
2, 3, 4. Woo! That's a record.
Come on.
Come on.
Bye-bye.
Good job. 1, 2. Come on. 1, 2. Stand up. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. No. Come on, stand up. 1, 2. Good job. Good job. Almost. Almost. So as you guys saw, Mila is actually trying to walk a little bit. It's kind of been showing a little bit more and more every day, but mainly these past few days. But another thing that I prepare, you guys, is I would definitely recommend for mamas, you know, that are prepping bottles or breastfeeding to have a tea maker. It's definitely a really good thing to have because you can fill up your water. Usually I always use filtered water, which is from the fridge. I don't ever use a sink water, which, I mean, that does not only go for just the bottles, it also goes for cooking, because it does make a huge difference. You want to make sure that whatever you're consuming, it's not full of a bunch of Clorox and whatever else comes from the tap water. So you want to make sure you use filtered water. But another thing that it does is, you know, once I pour fridge water in here, once it reaches the boiling point, it shuts off. So like the next morning when I prepare a bottle, even though it's cooled down and, you know, it's not hot anymore or warm, it's been boiled water. So a lot of times that's a good thing because you kill a lot of the bacteria that's in the water if you boil the water. But this is a good way to prep and have it just sitting there if you're doing bottles. And if you're a nursing mom, I have recommended in my other videos Mother's Milk tea. I don't think I have any more, but I do have the same brand Throat Coat tea. It's like herbal teas. Very good teas to drink, especially when you have to get up at night. You know, they're caffeine free. They don't have any caffeine in them, but they definitely help support breast milk production. So, you know, especially in the fall, since it's coming, having to get up, you know, early mornings or late at night, it's just kind of hard. It's cold, you know, you're awakened from sleeping maybe 30-40 minutes, so it's kind of always good to have that tea ready for you. And another thing I'd recommend is a Yeti cup. I've actually showed you guys this too. You know, if you have to get up several times at night, I would suggest, you know, boiling the water, putting the tea bag in here, and then closing the lid. And this part right here came separately, this lid right here. So it locks it in, and you just cap it, and it actually stays hot for several hours. So even when you wake up at night, it's not like, oh, who has time to get up at night and, you know, breastfeed a baby and then make tea for thyself? Nobody. But if you prep it, you know, in the evening before you go to bed, this will also be good, you know, just to take a few sips while you're nursing, you know, and always want to make sure that you stay hydrated. So it's kind of another thing that I prepare. So besides coffee, you can always have tea, but it's also good for bottles. And that's also another quick way to heat up your bottles, is if you have a tea maker, the boiling takes about 3 to 5 minutes. You just put it in the cup and then put that bottle in the cup. It's going to take about 1 or 2 minutes to heat up, so you don't necessarily have to have a bottle warmer. So yeah, that's another thing that I do to prepare for the morning. But I think you're gonna go ahead and ice it, honey.
What do you think?
Well, it's still warm over here, so it's gonna melt. Like right here it's cooler, but right here it's still kind of hot.